Now, back to On the Market on 105.9 The Region.
Welcome back to On the Market, York Region's exclusive radio real estate show on 105.9 The Region. I'm Tina Cortez, and our real estate expert is Asif Khan from Remax Prime Properties. And Asif, you have today's next guest.
I do, Tina, and it's Asif Kasim returning to the show. Asif is with Integrity Tree Financial. Welcome back, Asif.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
Asif, there's so much going on in the industry right now. Tell us what you're seeing from a financial perspective. What's the mood out there?
The mood out there is just a little bit of caution, but it's about having patience. What we're seeing now is there was a little bit of a lull, and it might continue just for a little bit longer. But it's more, I would say, sticker shock of seeing rates increasing. And, you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom that's put out there in the news, but that's what sells. That isn't necessarily what is actually going to happen. All right. It's easier to sell the idea of, you know, it's going to be all doom and gloom going forward versus, you know, here's the reality of what's really happening.
And you described it as a bit of a lull. Do you think that's typical at this time of year in your industry?
At this time of the year, typically no. It's normally the hottest time of the year when the most transactions are happening or closing. These are the type of things that happen typically after major rate increases or government guideline changes. You would see a slowdown for a temporary bit, and then it's back to business as usual.
And Asif, when it comes to mortgage rates, we seem to be at, you know, pretty much what rates were in a normal market. And we were spoiled a little bit by the free money, if you want to call it that, over the pandemic years. How do you see the rates right now, and is this something out of the ordinary that should cause a lot of panic?
I don't think it's out of the ordinary. I think it's actually a welcome reset to the market. We were living in a very artificial environment where things were amplified and escalated. The rates were super low, causing everyone to spend, right? And that's one of the biggest things driving the inflation is the spending. And the amount of activity that's happened in the last couple of years wasn't normal. What we're going to see inevitably is a return back to that pre-activity where, you know, it's a little bit more of, there's less activity happening, there's less transactions happening, a little bit more of a balanced market. Those are things that we're kind of anticipating. We don't expect to see the gold rush that we've seen in the last two or so years in the future. And I don't think that's going to take too long to get there.
And how then are you easing the panic or the stress homeowners are feeling?
Well, most of what we do now is communication. It's here's what you've seen in the news, and here's what it really means. It's explaining when they're discussing about these massive drops that the news puts out there. It's explaining, well, those are drops based on extreme highs that aren't normal. And when we explain that to people, there's a little bit more of a, oh, I get it. Okay, that makes sense. And then it's also welcome because a lot of people are in that situation where they're concerned about massive drops, but it's not as much of a problem when you think about it, because if the prices go up significantly above what they should be and they're just dropping within that realm of what it's been in the last 2 years, what we're trying to do is get back to what it was prior to that. So communication is the key. What we've done a lot of is reach out to our clients, develop those relationships, keep in touch, keep top of mind, make sure we're answering questions as clients and consumers are asking them. It's being there ready for them when they are ready.